advertisers have an obligation to act in their enlightened self-interest. Recent studies show an increasing case of companies inducing customers through manipulative advertisements. This dark reality of advertising may have worked for some brands, but have landed customers in psychological, financial, and mental trouble. Keep watching to see how your favourite brand may have been manipulating you all this while. So here's the thing, advertisements are not bad, but they are sometimes overtly manipulative in ways you can't imagine. Most times, we don't think they affect us and our choices, but that is not the case. They are not only problematic, they sometimes get us into trouble. Technology has introduced ads in many forms, including TV shows, websites, social media, movies, etc. If there's one thing everyone agrees on, it's the fact that these ads are a nuisance. Pop-up ads are even worse. Like, you're in the middle of an exciting movie, wondering how your favourite character would surmount a challenge, then suddenly an advertiser sees it as a perfect moment to sell. Modern adverts have moved from what we knew decades ago to a more emotional message. Therefore, customers buy a product not because they need it, but because it appeals to their emotions. Advertisers have a job because the product needs to be sold. Advertising is a career that helps consumers know about a product while persuading them to buy it. These products range from edible to non-edibles, like clothes, gadgets, food, car, etc. Manipulation in advertising uses facts, emotions, and arguments to deceive and mislead customers. Advertisers employ various tactics to rope you into their world of truth. It's not a mistake to start dreaming of owning a car model after watching an ad, although you can't afford it. It is also not normal to want a new house when you can barely afford rent. Advertisers love to take advantage of a customer's weak point. Those weak points are their selling points, and they won't let them slip out of their hands so easily. So here's how manipulative these advertisers get. Blame advertisers or not, you're in debt and have to pay. According to American Consumer Credit Counseling, borrowers carry over $680 billion in revolving credit and over $1.7 trillion in total debt. On average, it comes out to $10,700 per household. This figure is terrible, but it still doesn't reduce the desire to spend. This problem will last longer than expected because more people keep getting messages to want more things they can't afford. And guess what? The offers are too irresistible to ignore. Here's the deal. All kinds of modern ads stop you from thinking and force you to make your choice on the spot. If you were thinking about the high interest rates accrued from borrowing, you'll rather not buy that product. Because the advertiser knows that this is bad for business, they don't give you the luxury of time to think. Yes, it allows you to think in a way that favours the advertiser. It reinforces the fact that you have low purchasing power and makes you discontent with your present situation. Advertisers also employ FOMO to force customers out of their financial comfort zone. FOMO is short for fear of missing out. This marketing strategy appeals to customers to jump on an offer before it slips through their fingers. The truth is, there will always be an alternative, but buyers do not understand this. Many would rather make an impulse purchase, fearing that the offer may not come by again. FOMO works because humans do not love taking risks. Risk, in this case, would mean that you refuse to buy, knowing a similar offer would come in the future. Ironically, taking a risk means preventing regrets in the future. Think of a typical situation where you're considering buying a car. You already have a mind map of the model and brand you want. You also know the cost of purchasing it, but have yet to start saving. Suddenly, you're scrolling through Facebook and see an ad announcing a 10% price slash for your dream car. It's irresistible because purchasing it saves you 10% of the initial cost. Plus, it's all you've ever wanted. You take a deep breath and bury your head in the details. Your FOMO starts increasing. Advertisers know they have captured your attention with this. They take it a step further by attaching a deadline. The ad tells you that the offer runs from June 1st to June 15th. Therefore, you must start shopping now. They might even offer a bonus at the end of each purchase. A single ad promises you two things in one breath and forces you out there to get the money by any means. A typical FOMO advertising strategy is what Amazon is doing with Prime Day. Amazon Prime Day is an exclusive deal for Prime members that allows them to shop at incredibly discounted rates. It runs for only 2 days, after which the prices return to normal. Psychologists say the prices manipulate actors so much that they are unaware of the impact. Prime Day awakens the fire of consumption among shoppers. Amazon is also tactical about the time of year it organises this event. Unlike Black Friday sales targeted at the end-of-year shoppers, this one targets mid-year shoppers. This explains why it happens mostly in July when the year is slow. Shoppers are enlivened by the prospects of getting massive discounts and would do anything to get those deals they missed during Black Friday. Unconsciously, Amazon compels you to gift yourself something. Most people feel guilty when they self-indulge and purchase gifts for themselves. However, gifting their loved ones or friends is not a big deal. With massive discounts as high as 30%, this might be the perfect time to change that gadget you've always wanted to. After all, you're getting this cheaper than in regular stores. With a limited time ringing in shoppers' minds, they can fill their carts with as many products as they can afford. Sadly, most shoppers do not realise how deep these ads have eaten deep into their finances until it's too late. Manipulation also happens when a seller deliberately lies about the quality of their product to lure unsuspecting customers. Most notable brands have landed into trouble doing this, but this strategy has come to stay. After igniting the fire of urgency in the customer's mind, the ad exaggerates the quality of the product to draw you closer. An exaggeration is false information about a product embellished as truth. It also comes in the form of puffery, where exaggeration is reasonable. Beranito says puffery is an advertising claim that consumers do not pay attention to. Describing a pizza brand as the king of pizzas suggests it's better than its competitors. Breathe in for a second and ask how that title came about. These advertisers know you won't question that piece of information at the time. While puffery can woo new customers, it also leads to brands losing these customers after realising they have put up a fake identity all along. A case in point is the one New Balance faced in 2012 after publishing an exaggerated advert to promote their toning shoes. They ran out of luck when 3 women detected the lies and filed a suit against the company in Massachusetts. The judge agreed with the women and fined New Balance $2.3 million to settle false advertising claims. Victoria Monilarolo, Kimberly Carey, and Shannon Dilbeck got $5,000 each, while others in the class action received a $100 refund for each pair of shoes they purchased. The problem started when the company advertised a toning shoe that resembled regular sneakers. It claimed its True Balance and Rock and Tone lines activated lower body muscles with soles that made it hard to stay balanced. The ad said the shoe had a hidden beauty secret that helped the wearer burn 8% more calories than regular sneakers. In their complaint, the plaintiff said the claims were deceptive. In fact, the toning shoes provided no additional activation to the gluteus, calf muscles, or hamstring. Worse still, it didn't help them burn additional calories. To add insult to injury, scientists were concerned that wearing the toning shoes may lead to injury, a crucial fact that the company deliberately omitted from its ad. Because the false advert painted a picture of healthy, affordable, and beautiful footwear, thousands of people were swayed by the marketing strategy. 4 months after its release, the toning shoe raked $252 million in sales. Reebok and Skechers have been dragged into similar lawsuits, where they were levied $25 million and $40 million in a refund respectively. The class action against New Balance barred it from claiming that its shoes have health benefits. If they insist on it, they must back it up with proof from clinical studies. In New Balance's case, the false advert affected both consumers and advertisers. The worst hit was the advertiser, who would relinquish some profit to refund customers. Think about the last thing you bought online and ask yourself why you got it. Did you need it, or stumbled upon a piece that convinced you to get it? The second will likely be the case, especially dealing with a manipulative brand. Manipulative ads toy with your emotions. An advert can tell a story about a soap that cleanses your dishes or a store that makes hamburgers. Obviously, this would appeal to only a few, because there are tons of products capable of cleaning dishes and stores making the best hamburger. Consumers would likely ignore this piece and move on with their lives, but add a little bit more description and you've captured their minds. Descriptive words help to set a product apart from others. Telling prospective customers that the store serves healthy, tasty, and affordable hamburgers may be that bait to draw them closer. But again, how do they even confirm you're saying the truth? No one bothers to ask. Unfortunately, consumers cannot tell the difference between strong and weak arguments. To demonstrate the power of descriptive words in persuading consumers, Ellen Langer and her colleagues experimented with students in a university library. An undercover experimenter approached some students in the photocopying line at the university library. He asked to jump ahead of them to make a few copies. Sometimes he would justify his request by saying, "May I use a Xerox machine because I'm in a rush?" At other times, he said nothing. As expected, the students granted him the favour when he justified the request and refused when he didn't give a good reason. Days later, another experimenter would show up on the queue with another bland reason but without content. He'll say, "May I use a Xerox machine because I need to make some copies?" None of the students were swayed because everyone in the queue needed to make some copies. There was no reason to grant such a request. By saying he was in a rush, the other man won the heart of students who wanted to help him since he was in a hurry. While this may not be true, there was no time to think about it. It takes a few seconds to decipher if your product choice was based on critical thinking or emotions. Because emotions and memory are closely linked, any ad that speaks to both leaves an indelible mark on one's mind. A typical ad that speaks to your emotions compels you to sit in the cinema with a pack of overpriced popcorn. Ironically, we never question whether we need that popcorn when watching a movie, given it distracts us. To make matters worse, it is much more expensive than what you get outside the cinema. The choice to buy popcorn is purely emotional and not logical. A non-manipulative ad gets you to buy a product and be happy with it, not the other way around. Before inputting your card details to make that purchase, you want to confirm if your motivation is intrinsic or extrinsic. Intrinsic motivation means community feeling, affiliation, and self-acceptance. When you are extrinsically motivated, you focus on social popularity, appearance, and financial gain. Those who buy for extrinsic reasons seek acceptance from outsiders. If your motives are extrinsic, it is better to avoid that purchase. If this quick fix doesn't work for you, you can employ the mandatory holding pattern on your spending. If you are besieged with an ad for a product you believe you need, wait 48 hours before deciding whether to make the purchase. Notice how the urge to spend reduces after the first day and vanishes on the second. If, after 48 hours, you still feel the urge to purchase the product, your instinct might be right. It is probably what you need at the moment. Advertisers subscribe to aspirational advertising when they cannot win you over with the strategies mentioned earlier. This trick has been around for hundreds of years and has proven effective. However, there's a but. Humans constantly compare themselves with other people. Most times it is the poor comparing themselves with the rich or middle class, and the middle class wanting to be like the rich. Aspirational advertising suggests to the less privileged that they can become privileged if they buy a product. That is, buying a luxury car gives you the feeling of class and comfort that you've always wanted. Usually, it paints a utopia in the buyer's mind, suggesting that the product is an end to all their problems. In the case of a luxury car, we can all agree that maintaining a Lamborghini or Ferrari costs a fortune. Only those who can comfortably afford the vehicle should purchase it. The middle class has no business owning this car, as it's outside their league. This ad may further be embellished by introducing superstars, your favourite stars precisely. One example is a Red Bull brand, which likes to show off many superstars in its advertisements. The ads remind you that you are neither famous nor a superstar, but by drinking the product, you're one step closer to achieving this dream. While this is funny, consumers rush to stores to purchase the drink while basking in the euphoria that they will become superstars one day. Scientists agree that this kind of advertising is manipulative, but pinpoints some of its loopholes. Studies show that the ad's success depends on the viewer's self-image and the idealized person. If the consumer feels the comparison is unrealistic, the ad will spark negative emotions in their minds. This means they may develop low self-esteem and ditch the brand in response. Unfortunately, many advertisers have yet to come to this realization. Their reality gap is so wide that it leads to diminished attitudes toward the product. Some advertisers think honest and aspirational advertising are opposites. That's not true. You can infuse both in one ad and pass your message without making your audience feel less of themselves. You can begin with an honest portrayal of their lives and help them imagine a brighter future. This is more like taking them from the present spot and catapulting them into the future they envision. This strategy works better than imposing a public figure on them from the word go. Most brands prefer to blend honest and aspirational ads. Both works, depending on the advertiser's expertise. If a brand creates a truth customers can relate to, they'll certainly win their hearts without stress. How do you know you have been manipulated? Most consumers live in denial after they've been manipulated. They struggle to convince themselves that they need the product anyways, but their reality is far from it. Imagine purchasing a pair of jeans because the seller assured you that you'd look thinner in them. You wear it and look in the mirror, but you're still the same. You tell yourself that you look thinner, even though it's glaringly a lie. You can't even talk to a third party about how an ad misled you because you're embarrassed already. No one likes to be manipulated, but we live in a tricky world and it happens. Advertisers use it to get an edge over you. Only after they've conquered your thoughts can they coerce you into buying something you don't need. As an online shopper, you need to ask yourself questions like, am I being manipulated? Would this product be useful to me in a few months from now? Do I have a cheaper and more reliable alternative? Answers to these questions can help you decide whether or not the product is worth your money. Let's examine a few ads and how to identify manipulation. The first niche that seems to dominate the table is dieting. Because we are often in a hurry, we settle for junk and unhealthy food. This increases the tendency to add weight and feel bloated. Obese people consistently search for weight loss tea, diet, and pills to help them shed weight and return to an acceptable size. Unfortunately, they get too desperate and do not look out for some telltale signs of manipulation. When a seller says, lose weight without diet or exercise, do not believe them. Yes, you'll eventually lose something when you purchase that product, and that's your money. It is practically impossible to lose weight without eating healthy or exercising. No single pill or drink can make you shed that much weight. Imagine the relief a 100 kg plus woman gets from the assurance that she can lose weight permanently and never diet again. That means she can still consume as much junk as she wants and still maintain a healthy body weight. Damn. This is the height of manipulation. But online buyers do not see this. In fact, they're still dreaming about their favourite food they were forced to ditch for their health's sake. Car ads are the worst these days. Owning a car is an exhilarating experience. Unfortunately, only a few can afford an upfront payment for it. Therefore, they scan the internet for companies offering low or no interest loans, rebates, or trade-in allowances. Most dealers understand the desperation and are quick to play on words. They hide details about their offer in the fine print. You get the full details about the offer only after visiting their showroom or finance office. One of the trickiest ways they grab your attention and force you into their showroom is through baits like, "You've won, come to our dealership to claim your prize." You don't even pause to ask what you've won. You're so overwhelmed that you're in the showroom the next morning. Sadly, those dealers have nothing special for you. They only succeeded in bringing you to their showroom to see their fleet of vehicles. You can then choose a flexible payment option for the vehicle. What were you expecting though? A car? No, please. The difference between persuasion and manipulation have been debated for several centuries. In the 4th BC, Aristotle opposed sophists for their infamous teaching style. He accused them of not saying the truth but promoting lies for a fee. He called them manipulators who intentionally deceived people and got them into trouble. Modern scholars to this day still have a hard time differentiating between the two. While there is a thin line between persuasion and manipulation, the former is ethical while the latter is not. Some experts say persuasion is neutral, but Aristotle calls it noble. In persuasion, the advertiser promotes an idea backed with facts, while the consumer is free to accept or reject the appeal. In his publication in Harvard Business Review, Jay Conger noted that persuasion does involve moving people to a position they don't currently hold, but not by begging or cajoling. Instead, it involves careful preparation, the proper framing of arguments, the presentation of vivid supporting evidence, and the effort to find the correct emotional match with your audience. When persuasion is distorted, it becomes manipulation. This term revolves around mischief and deceit. It's the opposite of persuasion. With persuasion, the user intends to influence your decision, but manipulation forces an idea on you. A vivid point is the case of New Balance. Customers had weighed their options and saw that no other shoe supported their health as much as New Balance, so they accepted the invitation. The three major differences between persuasion and manipulation are intention, withholding truth, and coercion. You can categorize the manipulative tactics into these three from the examples outlined in this video. Have you ever been manipulated by an ad? Please share your experience with us in the comment section below. Like and subscribe to Incredibler to stay updated with future uploads.